I put a poll out asking if it's a good idea to start should you pull videos on this channel, and a lot of you guys said yes. So Penelo's coming out later tonight, but I figured I would come out with a video giving a very brief summary to how she works for people who are looking for more opinions or information about her. So how this is going to work is I'm going to give a brief description of her. I'm going to be weighing the pros and cons of her, and then at the end of this I'm going to be giving her a should you pull rating. It's going to range from C tier to S tier. Penelo is going to be a sub attacker, meaning she's going to be providing a lot of support, but also she's going to be giving a lot of damage. Throughout her entire kit, the two most prominent attacks, in my opinion, of her would be Evanescence, her LD, and Fatal Dance, her BT variant of her HP attack. Starting with her LD, its biggest selling points are it resets the Liberty Dancer buff. It does a lot of damage, 5 AoE HP dumps. Great thing about it is it also cleanses. Now onto her HP attack. Easily the most broken part of her entire kit. It does exorbitant amounts of damage, 7 HP dumps with 50% splash. It grants all of your party both Brave and HP after attacking. It fills up your EX gauge, so you're going to be hitting EX attacks a lot faster, and it gives 4 buffs to your party for every one of your HP attacks. Meaning, hypothetically, if your team currently has debuffs that aren't framed, theoretically, you could indirectly cleanse your party by overloading your slots with buffs. Fatal Dance is easily the biggest selling point of her, and it might actually now be one of the best moves in the game. Now onto the pros and cons of Penelo. I want to talk about the positives first. As of her banner dropping, Penelo will now be the new best all-in-one support. So for people who don't necessarily have a go-to support, they're definitely going to find it here with Penelo. She provides so much versatility to the team. She provides a lot of healing and support for the team. Out of the 10 or so checkboxes that make a good support unit, Penelo probably hits 9 of them. Some of the biggest support damage in the entire game. I think the only other support unit that comes close, maybe, would be Yuna. On top of being one of the best support damage dealers in the game, she's also easily the best force charger in the game. She's even better than Yuna, she's better than Luna Freya, she's better than Charlotta, she's even better than Hope, who was originally the best charger in the game. But Penelo now overshadows even Hope. Some people have even called Penelo the Hope 2.0. And rightfully so, because if you have Penelo, there's really no reason for you to use Hope anymore. Penelo is very good also for hyper offensive teams. One great thing about her kit that I was wrong about originally, her raising the party's speed actually works very well. That your team's going to be moving a lot faster and they're going to be taking turns from the enemy. So for hyper offensive teams and boss rush teams that are trying to beat the enemy as fast as humanly possible, Penelo is absolutely perfect for that. The last pro I want to talk about is she has a very solid FR. Say if your roster is not that big, or for people who don't necessarily have the strongest FRs at hand, Penelo will be a very suitable substitute for you. For every single attack, you are essentially going to be getting plus 70 for every hit. Be it calls, being sitting up buffs, you're going to be getting at least a minimum of 70% every single time. And that's not including her using her own skills, to which she can raise up the numbers even higher than that. So if you don't necessarily have a good DPS unit with an FR that can be abused, Penelo's own FR can fill that role very well. Now we're going to get to the cons. Yes, there are cons of Penelo, believe it or not. And despite seemingly how small they are compared to her pros, I still wanted to go over them. First con I want to talk about is her inconsistent direct cleansing. The only way that she can directly cleanse the party would be through her LD and FR. And while you might have been able to get away with it during Lufenia Plus era with just spamming LDs, with Shinryu era, you're going to have to play a little bit more complex than that. You're going to be using more often than not attacks other than your LD and FR. Her HP attack doesn't do any direct cleansing. Her charge skills don't do any direct cleansing. It's only through her LD and FR that she gets rid of silver frame debuffs of the party. Again, like I said, if the debuffs aren't framed, she can kind of get away with cleansing through her HP attack. For silver frames, you're gonna have to save some LD uses for that. The second thing I want to talk about is Penelo isn't exactly defensive oriented. She isn't going to be a support unit that's catered to countering the enemy, such as other units like Firion or Maria. Again, she's going to be more of an offensive oriented character. Not saying that you can't use her in defensive teams, I'm just saying you might find it a little bit challenging to use her in those teams. Another reason why that would be a challenge is because she raises speed of the party, which is a good thing if you have the right team composition. However, if you're mixing her in with teams that have Orin, Gladio, Galoof, if you're using a specifically defensive FR that requires the enemy to take lots of turns, just bear in mind that Penelo's buffs are going to interfere with that. Another con would be she does great damage, but still not on the level of DPS. Well, I wouldn't really say this is a con because she's a support unit, so of course she's not going to be on the level of Jack Garland or Machina. However, for people who looked at her kit and thought, oh, I don't even need an attacker, I could just use Penelo. I would be careful because again, her damage, while amazing, is still nowhere near close to an actual DPS unit. That's why she's great more of as the support unit or the third party unit, not necessarily the attacker of the team. Following up on that, if you're looking to do absolutely crazy damage on the enemy and you're using Penelo, you might want to look for another FR to utilize. Her FR, while it is very good, it doesn't give the absolute highest number possible for your team. There still are units that give higher force percentages. For example, Jack Garland gives higher force percentages, and other DPS units as well, like Sid Reigns, Vaughn, Machina. While Penelo is going to be very, very, very good, she's not going to single-handedly break the game. You can't just bring her to a Shinryu along with two non-built units and expect to beat the Shinryu. It's not gonna work like that. She's not on the level of broken as Garnet was when she came out with her global first. I wouldn't put her on that tier. However, that aside, if you know how to utilize her well and you know her strengths, she's going to do absolute wonders for your team. So my official should you pull rating is S tier. I think she is extremely important to get, especially for newer players. This is a once in a very long while opportunity for you to get a very, very, very good support unit for your team. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.